All right, we're going to call this meeting to order. We can all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Mr. Scott, can we call the roll?
Yes, Ms. Albright.
Here.
Mrs. Bell.
Here.
Mr. Jarrett.
Here.
Mrs. Leone.
Here.
Mrs. Olson.
Here.
Mr. Scott here. Mr. Strobel.
Here.
And Mrs. Thompson.
Here.
8 present.
Okay. All right. Moving on to procedures for public participation. And I need my glasses. Prepared statements that are to be read to the board should have a copy presented to the board president prior to their being addressed. Comments on agenda items will be made by rising and approaching the microphone, stating your name and address, and signing in on the sheet provided. You'll be granted up to 3 minutes to address the board. Your 3-minute time limit will begin when you start to speak. When your 3 minutes are over, you'll be asked to be seated. Any item that is not on the agenda, as well as agenda items acted upon, comments will be made at the designated section at the end of the agenda. Moving on to announcements. Agenda edits. There are no agenda edits to the committee of the whole. And now we're going to move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Cooper?
Thank you, Madam President. A few items to share with the board. Administrative team last week participated in our annual leadership retreat from Monday through Thursday. We had a week of learning together. We did some community service over at Helping Harvest, and it was culminated with a countywide in-service sponsored by the IU on Thursday that featured a nationally renowned speaker, Mr. John Gordon, who spoke on the topic of the power of positive team and bringing out the best in you, your people, and your schools. So it was a nice way to wrap up our week of learning. Second item is our Blazer Learning Community team has been working diligently throughout the summer months here, preparing for our upcoming school year as we implement our district right-sizing plan. And with the professional staff members return in 2 weeks from today, actually, and our students in just about 2.5 weeks. So we're coming up upon the start of the school year. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Cooper. Okay. All right, for the committee of the whole, under finance, we have all the stuff we normally do at the beginning of the school year. Anybody have any comments, questions, concerns on the stuff under finance? Okay. Seeing none, do we have any public comment on finance items for the committee of the whole? Okay, moving on to programs. Again, everything that's normal for the beginning of the school year. Anything that anybody wants to talk about? Okay, hearing none. Move on to public comment under programs. Okay, presentations by board members. Any secretary's correspondence, Mr. Scott?
I have nothing to report this evening.
Okay. Mr. Jarek for the BCIU.
BCIU just welcomed 2 new board members, one from Muhlenberg and one from Reading.
Okay.
They'll be sworn in, I guess, at they've been through orientation. I guess they'll be formally sworn in at the August 18th meeting,
Okay.
which is the next meeting of the BCIU on that board.
All right. All right. Moving on to the Berks Career and Technology report, Ms. Thompson.
All right, we met on June 22nd. Summer camp there was well attended. Boone had 2 students that attended that. The main on the agenda was transportation for them as well. An increased $500,000 to their budget with an average increase from each one of their bus companies between 30 and 58% increase from the previous year. Their next meeting is August 24th.
We've already paid our dues for the current school year, correct? Right? Yeah, okay. All right, legislative report. Mr. Strobel, is there anything on that?
I don't have anything new, and I don't have the next date available because I'm driving, so.
No, that's fine. Okay, thank you. Any other reports for anything that met? Did the tax authority meet in June, or?
They did, but I wasn't able to.
Okay, that's fine. All right, any board questions for any of the members who attended meetings since our last board meeting? Any public comment? Moving on to enrollment, the headcount statistics are there. Does anybody from the board have any questions for the administration on headcount? Are we close to back to what we would have expected at this point pre-COVID?
Yeah, our enrollment has been pretty steady. I mean, we pick up some, then we also have some moving out of district, so it's pretty much at an even wash with where we're at.
What about
Kindergarten was at 184
Wow.
on Friday. We anticipate being where we typically are when we start out our school year, somewhere in the mid to upper 190s.
And where
we're
were
on
we
pace for
last
that.
year? Like,
We were about the same, at this point, the same place.
okay,
It's been pretty consistent like this for the past few years.
okay. All right, any other than me, any other questions on the headcount statistics? And then any public comment on headcount? Curriculum and instruction. Mrs. Albright, do you want to give that report, or should we defer to Ms. Owens?
We can defer to Ms. Owens.
Okay. The last meeting was in June, I guess, right?
Let me just find my minutes. So long.
I apologize.
That's okay.
Never seen this many people be so quiet.
Can we talk about Jimmy's T-shirt right now?
No. No. We're not talking about that.
I like Jimmy's new hat.
Yeah, new hat, new shirt. Yeah, a bunch of new shirts for this year. Wow.
We don't talk about Bruno.
I saw your
I know.
I wasn't going
It's
public.
like that today.
It's a funny one.
Anything? Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about kindergarten registration materials, and the kindergarten team and the PC instructional coach and the building principal handed out bags of manipulatives and whiteboards and Play-Doh and letters also to incoming kindergartners. We talked about summer professional learning enrollment, where one of our instructional coaches was going to be at the time holding sessions with interested teachers. They could earn Act 48 hours, and at that time, on June 13th, 34 slots were already filled by 19 different teachers that were going to take advantage of that. I have a much better update
Okay.
for next time.
That's
but
fine.
For this June meeting, that's what we talked about. We talked
Okay.
about the Blazer Teacher Academy update, and that over the course of, since we've had that, we've had 41 approvals. I got a little bit more specific than that, but. And then we talked about priorities for the comprehensive plan, and the overwhelming top priority was school culture,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it.
And we had a demonstration by, a technology demonstration, or was
I
that?
think that was the month.
That was the
before.
previous one, okay.
Yes, Chris Endy.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Ms. Owens on committee, curriculum instruction? Any public comment? Moving on to extracurricular, Ms. Bell.
We had our extracurricular meeting tonight. We have a few open positions. We have a middle school assistant volleyball coach position open. We have a middle school field hockey coach and assistant positions available, and we have a high school field hockey assistant coach position open. We talked about equipment. Our costs are up, so we're getting bids and trying to control those costs. We had some an exciting conversation about student entrance fee and to promote culture in the district. We talked about waiving the student fee for our Boone students that have ID, and we would like to do that in time. We're going to vote on that and do that in time for our first football game on August 26th. And then our unified program, we have a youth summit with 4 students and 2 coaches going to Kutztown on October 18th. And then we also had some exciting news with our bocce program. They are going to be coming here to use this as a training site for our national video for bocce.
Okay. Any questions from Ms. Bell? Any public comment on extracurricular? Okay, moving on to facilities and transportation. Facilities and Transportation Committee meeting was prior to this meeting, and Mr. Strobel wasn't here, so I ran that meeting. We got a long list of updates of different work that needed to be done at the schools over the summer. Water fountain installation in more than one building. We had some roof inspections. We have a door project at the high school. Is that right? It's at the high school. Retaining wall project and a security wall, both at the intermediate center?
At the intermediate center.
Both at the intermediate center. Auditorium work at the high school, LED lights throughout the school district. All of them are progressing as expected. All of them should be done by the beginning of school if they're not done already. That we are having some AC issues over at the River Rock building that we're looking into. We got a cleaning update. Our cleaning contractor is on schedule with their cleaning. Hasn't been that way at this point in time in the summer for the last 2 years because of COVID, but they're more on schedule than they've been in the last couple of years. We did have something that we approved out of committee. There is a heat pump and heat exchanger at the middle school. I'm sorry, there's a middle school cooling tower and heat exchanger that had not been inspected for several years, and now we're at a point where we can either spend $18,000 to have it maintained and repaired, or we can spend $28,000 and get a new one. We did get a quote from Berkshire Mechanical, who does a lot of the work for our school district, to do a replacement at the cost would be not to exceed $28,320. We're looking to have that on the next voting meeting. So anybody have any questions about that one before I go on to the next thing? Yeah, it'd be bad if we didn't have AC at the beginning of the school year, and it'd be bad if we don't have heat when it comes to be probably November 1st. Then the other thing that was discussed was we had Mr. Wayne Robinson from Christ was here to discuss the where we were with what needed to be done for the transportation contract. We got to meet Sue. Can't remember. Gaines. We got to meet Sue Yanis, who's the person they hired as their director for our district. It sounds like most of the routing is almost complete. She's been working very closely with Kim in our main office to get that done. They have 85% of the school buses that they need for next year in Puxatawney right now, getting the school district name put on them, and they anticipate having the rest of them by the time we're ready to go for the year. They are still scoping out places for to house the buses, and they're keeping us regularly updated on their progress with that. I don't think they were ready to commit to a date to have that ready to go, but they are looking at some sites within the school district and some sites slightly outside the school district. And when I pressed as to where those might be, they said they were close, within 2 miles. Did I miss anything? Oh, they're almost fully staffed for the school year. They just ran through one training last week, and there's another one coming up this coming week for drivers. Any questions, concerns on facilities and transportation from the board? Any public comment?
Melissa Marquise, Birdsboro. For the buses, they don't know where they're going to store them. We only have about 2.5 weeks left until school starts. That's a very short time. Where are the buses going to go? They had since when? Contract? And this is why I said that shouldn't have been put in there, that they are not held accountable if they can't complete routes. I have 3 kids in this district, 2 that depend on a bus. I'm a working mother. I depend on transportation.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to finance. That's me too. Last board meeting, last finance meeting was in mid-June, I think, and the only thing we really discussed was the budget. Is that correct in saying? Yeah, which we've set the millage for the year, so. I don't know if there's much to discuss on that, but that's what we did. Next meeting is going to be held before the voting meeting on August 22nd. Any comments, concerns on finance from the board? Any public comment on finance?
Julia?
Yes, sir.
One of the things that was mentioned in an email that we've received, that, the additional money that we've received from the state, there was talk about, now we have all this extra money, and I just wanted to make a comment in case it's not out there that I was talking with Dr. Cooper. Pretty much everything we buy is now twice as much, if not a little bit more in some cases, maybe a little less in some. So that additional money that we were provided got swallowed up pretty quickly.
And everybody were able to hear him pretty much? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Strobel. And hearing his comment in addition to what I said, anybody have any public comment? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Strobel. Policy review, Mr. Scott.
So we had 4 policies we discussed this evening, one on bullying, one on student expression, one on student discipline, and non-school organizations using our property. So we had a chance to go through all those policies. If anybody on the board, or for that matter, anybody who has any questions, please feel free to email me. Our next meeting will be September 12th, 2022.
Okay. Anybody have questions right now for Mr. Scott? Any public comment on policy? Okay, moving on to technology. Mr. Strobel, were you?
No meeting.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, the meeting was canceled.
Correct.
Yeah, because we were heading into the summer. So the next meeting will be, again, before the next voting meeting, August 22nd. Any comment on the no meeting that we had in June? Old business, I got nothing. Any public comment on our lack of old business? New business. Okay, so we got a couple presentations. Thank you for being patient to the folks we got visiting from Nutrition Inc.
Are we able to toggle through so that our guests can see the presentation as well? Are we able to do that?
Are we able to do that?
I mean, it's a PowerPoint. We should be able to.
It's attached, the PowerPoint's attached to the board docs. Yeah, just give us a second to get that up for you. And it's all the way at new business at the bottom. Thank you.
So good evening, everyone. My name is Victoria Carpenter. I am your Director of Food and Nutrition for the Nutrition Group. What you have in front of you is our year-end food service report. I'm not going to go through every single page, but I think it will be beneficial for our guests and our community members to see some of the things that we've done this past year. So you'll see, if we go through the second page, there's just some pictures of our district and some information. We'll go to slide 3. So we returned and we're operating in another year of COVID. Some of our goals for a successful year and overcoming the obstacles and hurdles. So we wanted to, first and foremost, provide accommodating, healthy, and nutritious breakfast and lunch service at each building while following all CDC and PDE guidelines, adhering to all COVID protocols in order to keep our students, staff, and faculty healthy and safe. We utilized our relationships with our facilities teams and building administrations to run our operation as seamlessly and efficient as possible, and communication was key. Our COVID protocols, masking, social distancing, and how did we make it through another year? In this operation, COVID has taught us many things, but the one word that would best represent this year for us would be teamwork. One of the things I'd like to just pause and thank is our building administration, our building principals, our facilities team, and our board and administration. The communication that we were able to have this year in another year of COVID was amazing, and it really did make this year so much more impactful for us from a food service perspective and still be able to provide our students with quality, nutritious, and healthy meals. When I say teamwork, I really do truly mean that, and that made this year so much more efficient and so much more easier in another year of COVID. So I definitely want to take the opportunity to just thank everyone for all their hard work. Staff shortages and COVID positive cases I think we all saw that throughout the year, and just overcoming that and being able to still continue to provide day in and day out. The biggest thing that hit us this year was supply chain issues and navigating the unknown. So we can switch to the next slide. I'm not going to hit every single one because I only have a little bit of time, but I wanted to just explain to you guys how we were able to provide what we did. So we streamlined a lot of our options and our menus utilizing student favorites. If we weren't able to get that product in, we still continued throughout the year, but we utilized surveys within the students to try to get what are your favorites, what are you missing, what haven't we offered, things that we can get in that we were able to still provide. The Free Meals Initiative program provided the district with an opportunity to serve all of our students at no cost. Every day we were able to provide quality, healthy, and nutritious meals to our Daniel Boone students. The Free Meals Initiative program also allowed for us to continue to serve our local community throughout the school year. We continue to serve breakfast and lunch, reimbursable meals to the Birdsboro Community Center and Good Shepherd Learning Center. Faculty and staff menu at our high school building gave us the opportunity to offer a more upscale menu and showcase our capabilities. And continual success driving our meal reimbursement and a la carte sales, we passed our budgeted expectations. So this is some of the communication that went out to parents and students, guardians, letting them know some of the issues that we were having. This is a sample letter that did go out to parents, letting them know about some of the issues that we were faced with in terms of finding and sourcing quality and nutritious foods throughout the school year. On another slide, you'll see some of the issues with the supply chain and labor shortages, which did hit us. There was chicken that we weren't able to get in. We had drivers that weren't showing up. So, we saw it first and foremost. The next slide, you'll see make a connection and make an impact. So the Free Meals Initiative, again, provided endless opportunities to reach out and provide quality, healthy, and nutritious meals, not only to our students, but also our community. The Daniel Boone Area School District Athletic Department was a huge impact and asset in getting this information out to our coaches. We were able to provide a variety of meals and or snack bags to keep our athletes fueled during practices, games, and meets. And that was all year long. We were able to do that. And also claim the reimbursement for the district. Bob Nealon from the Birdsboro Community Center was also a huge asset as we were able to provide snack bags for their after-school program. And Patricia Awasani is the director at Good Shepherd Learning Center, and her staff, we were able to once again provide breakfast meals to their entire enrolled child program. You'll see on the next few slides is just some pictures from the school year of things and events that we were able to participate in. And just some pictures from service throughout the district, some of the items that you'll see that students may have or may not. Hopefully they did talk about what we were able to do. And then some shots from our Instagram page. The next one is our faculty and staff menu. This year we were able to participate in a fresh fruit and vegetable tasting at our primary center. This was a new initiative this year. It's creating healthy, nutritional eating habits at an early age to create and develop students' awareness to healthy eating. And our future initiative for next year, we will continue to build upon this. Each building will be able